Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to a new Q&A with the Old School team. Yes. All right, so introductions. We have Mod Matt K.
Yo.
Ian.
Hey.
Mod John C.
What's up?
Mod Ash.
Hello.
Mod Reach.
Hello.
And Mod Archie. All right, so let's get into this. Quick intro. So first of all, I'll be taking the questions from now on. So don't send them to Mod Ronan anymore. Send them to me. Okay? Just to note that. All right. So
I'm sure they'll think of something else to send to Mod Ronan.
Oh, also, okay, another thing that's actually going to change with the Q&A is, so you guys have been asking, with the more serious questions, sometimes we're very interested and intrigued in them, and nothing really happens to them, so we'll actually start taking note of them and giving more of a follow-up in future weeks. So I think Mod James and Ronan will be doing that today? No, yeah? No. Okay, so anyways, let's get into this. It's painful. The Kel asks, when can we have the ability to sort out our spell books?
We actually discussed this recently.
Yes.
Yeah, but not publicly.
No, but it's...
Well, just Twitter.
I'll let Ash answer it.
Oh. So we may not be able to do you an update where you could just drag and rearrange the spells into any order you like, and that's kind of action bar-ish anyway, if we went quite that far. But I would like to do the update that came to RuneScape sometime after 07, where you could choose, which set of spells was at the top and which came next or whatever it was. So teleports first or combats first, to give you a bit more, customizability for it, and also to hide the sets of spells you don't want to see all the time. And if we were doing that while we were about it, we could also hide the bounty target spell if you're not on a bounty world. Because if we make the spellbooks dynamic in that way, that's the kind of thing we can bung in while we're about it.
Awesome. All right. Next big question. This one got asked a lot. This is from Denny966 asking about EXP drops.
Hello, Denny966. XP drops is something I've wanted to do for, coming on a year now. We have, of course, got an interface editor this year, which is something we didn't have last year. But the thing is, it's not a small job. We could spend time doing it, and I would like to, but it's never been possible to just shoehorn it in along with all the other quality of life jobs that we've been trying to get through for people as well. So, yeah, something I'd like to do. Can't promise when.
All right. Let's see, this is another big one, actually. This was asked a few times from Plate Legs. When are we going to be able to see / hear more information about the potential second prayer book?
Dan has ideas about that,
I think as we cover most weeks, we talk about new prayer books and spell books coming predominantly from the new continent, which is actually going up in a poll today or tomorrow? Tomorrow, okay. Right. So you'll have the ability to vote for the continent tomorrow, which will include potential new spell books and prayer books. What they include is entirely up to you. We don't have to limit it to any of our specific ideas. We don't have to limit it to things that we had originally. We can have an entire new spell book and prayer book. If you have any ideas for what you would like to see, please do let us know, because we will be taking feedback on that at all times.
The biggest conversation going on in the chat right now is about the table.
Yeah, I think they decided to dissect the table for coffee.
Yes.
Yes. Well, tea.
If you have any preferences of how you would like to see the table arranged, please do let us know. Email Chris.
Or you can email livestream@japes.com.
Okay.
James will set it up in that way next week.
But speaking of the continent, I actually just put up a video on the Old School channel if you guys want to check that out. Went about half an hour ago. Pretty in-depth, so you'll know what you're voting for. Anyways.
Couldn't have it the other way.
Thank you. Ambler3 asks, can we do more bot-busting streams like the one last night?
That's probably one for Ronan, but seeing
I could do that one.
Yeah.
The thing about the bot-busting stream, it was a wonderful stream last night. We had, 10,000 people, I think, wasn't it, Ronan?
Just over, yeah.
Yeah, 10,000 concurrent watching, which is fantastic, and obviously it was really popular. We will do them again. We don't want to do them every week, because then they get a bit boring and a bit samey, so we'll do it again. I think we're looking at the last week of November, and then that final thing can go into the Well of Goodwood as well, so I think that seems like a good idea. So we'll do another one then. We'll see if we can get more money this time. So what was it, 850 million we put in?
Ooh. Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully at the end of November, we will do more, much more.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think we're looking at getting some highlights from that stream to put on YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
You can watch it back if you missed it.
The 400 million bot, definitely worthwhile watching over and over again.
All right.
Probably 400 mil on them, I don't know.
Don't know anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
Next question is from Ian Spam, who asks, Please let me insure my cat for like 50 to 100K. I'm scared to take my cat into the wilderness out of fear I might lose it.
Don't they cost like 100 coins?
Yeah, but
You're gonna get a
obviously
kitten.
there's some sentimental value here.
Sentimental value over his pixel cat.
I want to know why Ian wants to take
I
his
mean,
cat to the wilderness.
You do raise them from a kitty, like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
yeah, I can not understand that actually, but all right.
It can be-
Actually, there's another
can
pet
be done.
question. So that's a maybe,
Yeah.
right? Next question's from Dream Mentor, another pet one actually. Can there be a call option for pets? They literally get stuck on anything.
Now that's easier. Where would you like the button? Would be the question.
Options interface seems like the most logical.
You probably want it, because if you've got your pet following you, you're not going to necessarily have your options interface open, are you? So you probably want it on the circle thing minimap, which seems the logical place,
Well-
next to the summoning icon.
It's not like there's a pet interface that's going to take the place of the options interface.
Yeah.
So it could go there, it could go anywhere, or it could be something else entirely, like a whistle in your pocket.
You could have it as a button like around the
Interesting.
mini-map. It can only be visible if you've got a follower.
Wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah.
Just bring back the
But-
familiar tab.
Boy, does that feel
Yeah.
like a something update.
Right. Okay.
Also, putting things around the minimap has been more controversial than
Yes,
otherwise.
absolutely. That's the
At least
only
there's a
concern
toggle
with
for them.
that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Next one's from MenaceMan22. Can you buff the Calphite Queen's drop table? Wyverns currently drop more than double the loot long-term profit. I read that wrong. Than the Calphite Queen.
It's on my list.
Awesome.
Unfortunately,
So-
we'll have to poll it again, even though it was done a couple of months ago. But yeah, I could do a better job this time.
What plans you got this time?
Just with what it drops seems fine. It just needs to be increased in amounts. I might have only taken into account maxed accounts killing it at maximum speed, and probably as part of the Desert Achievement Diary, should they pass, add a nice shortcut in there should increase profitability quite a bit as well.
That makes sense, yeah.
But it is worth noting that the Skeletal Wyverns do have a fairly high Slayer requirement on them, so they probably should be worth a little bit more, whereas the Calphite Queen doesn't. But
Okay. Is it wyverns or wyverns?
I
'Cause
have
said
absolutely no
wyverns.
idea.
All
I
right.
thought it was
I
wyverns.
think
it's
we
one of those
should know
RuneScape
this.
things when no one really knows.
All right.
Like
Oh,
Arduino.
Wyverns aren't just in RuneScape. Just to let you know.
It's been around for
Regardless, good question, Menace Man. All right, next one's from I'm Benjamin. Can you guys change the background of the login screen for special events like Christmas?
We can. We've been meaning to do it for the last 3.
Well, actually, we need another pack tool we never got
Oh,
back,
yeah.
but I think Ian could probably bring it back for us if we needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a while. It's on the list to do for Christmas anyway.
But yeah, we were thinking of doing it for I think Bounty Hunter and Halloween, and
Right.
yeah,
All right, Christmas, regardless.
Yeah, we'll do our
Possibility.
best for Christmas.
Cool.
Better
Next
put that on
one's
the
from Shark Owns. Would it be possible to add a quick fetch option for construction?
you mean rework the butler so you don't have to go through all the dialogue? I think is what's being
think
got at.
so.
We can totally take that as a quality of life update. I
Yeah,
think.
I'd love to do that.
All right.
We'd have done it as part of a big batch of construction updates if there'd been more support for that in the priority poll, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
All the same, we should probably have to get this one through without
Yeah,
it.
I've been meaning to do that since like January, but then I got 99 construction and sort of cared less.
I think we got poll 28 coming up in a couple of weeks. Seems like quite a nice one to put on for that one.
Also, didn't somebody say that we were never again doing construction updates after all the trouble they'd had testing menageries?
Sucks to be you, mate.
Right, next question's from I Waste All My Time. Will the new continent have, or can we get a raid boss with a Slayer requirement, and can it drop tier gear?
So the plan I have for the raid, or a raid for the new continent so far, it doesn't include any particular Slayer requirements. It only includes potentially a combat level requirement and a minimum team size requirement. So I think I was going with 5.
Yep.
Tier gear I'm open for. I have been tweeting images of a particular magic set so far. I haven't confirmed where it's come from, but I think I've just inadvertently done it then. There will be 3 sets of gear that I would plan to come from that: a melee gear, a range gear, and a magic gear. And the way it drops, it will be slightly different to how other bosses drop it as well. So that is what I have planned for a raid. As for anything else, I'm still yet undecided and still in the design stage for that at the moment.
Okay, cool. This one's from Bare Metal 1. Where can I send video footage of player harassment? This is a pretty new, big question. So basically, you guys know we've actually started to tackle raggers and all that fun stuff. So basically, if you want to, collect video footage, send it in. I have an email for this. It's chris.archie@jagex.com. And I'll definitely be going through, and we can run that through the team and determine what action should be taking place. Yeah?
Yeah, we've got Mod Weave as well, who does all the investigations into this, so you will know who he is. Effectively, anything that comes through on a video, we check through our own systems to make sure that we can corroborate it all. And we do go through a process of getting rid of the people that are not very nice. There we go.
Right, definitely. Okay. This one's from Artemis Vergult. Can you buff dark crabs so it's worth fishing them?
Whenever we've tried to offer something to improve them in the past, it's just not gone well.
Yeah.
But I think the most recent one, which was probably some months ago now, was based on it was a base amount plus X percentage of your health and up to 24, if I'm not
Something of
mistaken.
the sort, yes.
Something
It
like
made
that.
it slightly better for people with high hit points, but not so good for people with low hit points, which would have been interesting if we'd introduced it like that from the first. But I can see why people don't necessarily want to vote for it if it's going to be bad for them, even if it's better for high level players.
If memory serves, it came very close to passing, which means, based on discussions Ronan's been having with the community recently, and something else you'll hear about tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah?
Yep. Yeah.
Probably. I don't know what you're tying it into, but with the polls going out tomorrow.
Yeah, something on the poll tomorrow to change. We'll be offering you to change the voting pass. I've gone off on a tangent.
Yeah. So I tell you, right, tomorrow,
Yes.
we're putting out a poll. We're putting out a poll for achievement diaries. We're putting out a poll for the new continent. We're also putting out a poll to change the polls, where we're going to be asking you, should we reduce the 75 to 70%? Should we add an abstain option? Should we, help me out, Ash, should we
Change the requirements.
change the requirements to vote? Yes, from 280 total level to 25 in-game hours of gameplay. And the other one,
Changing your vote.
yes, changing your vote. So we'll be polling all that tomorrow. There'll be information about that tomorrow, but sort of ties in what you were saying.
And yeah, so should the option to change it to 70% from 75 pass, then we'll talk about revisiting some of the questions that fell between 70 and 75, and I think that was one of them, so we can always revisit that again soon.
I think it
Right.
was.
So you've kind of just answered a question I had, and might as well just address it now. And that's, will questions that went up to, say, 74% ever be reconsidered in the future?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we wanted to do. We want to do a near miss poll where we go through a lot of the ones from 74%. If they're still popular, we will go poll them again, see if you guys have changed your minds on them and want them in now.
So what you're saying is there's hope for the Divine still?
The Divine failed by quite a bit.
Yeah, that's 69, wasn't it?
I think it was like
Yeah.
65,
It was
66.
Yeah, so that's probably a bit below, but
There's hope for some other stuff.
yes. Yeah, so anything that sort of, I suppose, me and Ronan have talked about it briefly, but sort of 74 to 75, we'll look at polling again. Some of the stuff may not be relevant, so we won't poll that, but I think we'll need to do it at some point.
And some things people might have just happily forgotten about, like the trimmed quest cape from Nightmare Zone.
Yes.
Like, we've got new ideas for where to put that,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want to just stick it on Nightmare Zone after a year.
I think we'll take it
After the
on a
loop.
case-by-case basis.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
If you guys have got ideas, all the polls, information about the polls are out there, so you can always sort of tell us which ones you would like repolled.
Yep, there's a complete
That's not a
history available on the poll booths.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
I love
So
that
we've
feature.
got a couple of player-owned kingdom questions coming up next. This one's from Anthony Probert. He's asking for the ability to right-click collect when dealing with your player-owned kingdom.
We can, yeah, it's easy enough. Yeah, right-click on Advisor Grim just to speed up the dialogue. That's doable.
Yeah. Okay. Good. This one's from I Piss in Cans.
That's an awesome name.
Could you make it so that we can check our kingdom and manage it without having the resources automatically deposited into our bank? He likes letting them stack up. If
He wants to be able to see what's in the rewards.
Yeah, it's just a personal preference thing.
So he wants to be able to see them but not accept them at that time.
Yeah, we could stick something in there saying, would you like them deposited, yes, no?
That's a temporary inventory. If they go in there and he doesn't accept them, then they're going to go away again when he logs out.
Yeah.
Right, there's kind of a bit of a follow-up, different but similar in a sense, asking about increasing the amount of maximum pest control points. It goes to like 250 right now or something.
Now that I can be more confident about. Yes, I think we can do that.
Yeah, I'm going to need that actually for achievement diaries.
Yeah, well,
So basically, instead of just getting enough to buy one piece, then going back buying another piece, you could just save up enough to buy the whole set.
I think the limit got set back in the first draft of Pest Control, even before the, multipliers came into it, where there wasn't very much point in saving up. So it was a fairly low limit. And then when new rewards were added that were worth saving up for, nobody really did anything about it.
Right.
But I bet we could.
Okay.
Don't take it too high though, because then you run the possibility of someone collecting points for years upon years and getting 13 million experience in a day, but we can certainly take it higher.
What's wrong with
It'd be
that?
interesting with some of those tracking websites, wouldn't it?
Exactly, yeah, those daily records would get obliterated.
It'd be good to see though, wouldn't it? Somebody does it enough and gets.
It's definitely happened before in the past. People have stacked up Dungeoneering points and Vinesweeper points and then spent them all at once and gotten 50 million experience in one game tick.
Yes.
Or wine.
Or wine, yes.
Well, wine's not really stack upable, but you can do a 36-hour record, I think, with wine.
There's obviously a few dangers to that, which RS3 then overcame by putting in, I guess, caps on how much XP you can redeem at any one transaction. But
Well, also there was an error once in our logs showing somebody who had tried to ferment so much wine in their bank simultaneously that it made the server kind of crash slightly. So I rewrote it a bit to make that not happen.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah.
Next questions. This is from Learn to Tank Another Void one. Can we get a Void deflector? Has that been brought up yet?
We've discussed it once or twice before. We can do it easily enough. I'd rather not do Conquest at the same time.
Yeah, we talked about
how
that
people
last time.
get the Void Deflector or aid a Void Deflector would be the biggest question.
But yeah, we have no concerns about offering it should people want it.
Makes sense to come from the Void Outpost, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just from pest control seems like the easiest option.
I would like. I think I talked about on the forums briefly at one point a potential minigame rework for next year at some point. Pest control will probably be one of them because I think it's got a few nice rewards. Obviously, we had the Elite Void set at one point.
Yeah,
obviously the Deflector as well. Having that as an upgraded reward list for the pest control will be quite nice and help boost activity there.
Yeah, I'm considering the Elite Void, or at least a similar prayer boost to Void as a reward for the achievement diary, purchasable from the shop.
All right. Should we take a look at the chat for a question now?
Yeah.
I kind of
I can't read
decided
it.
to do that intermittently today.
It's too far away. It's not big enough. That's
They
the
want to know
problem.
whether you're
anything
copying
good
me by
right
having
now
a
for
red
us?
mug.
It says Kit Kat on it.
All right. Old school advertising log, or sorry, adventure log from Mr. Medi?
Yeah.
I'm not doing great today. Adventurers log, yeah, they were great. Everyone loves statistics, but the amount of work involved in getting them, or anything for the website, is just makes it unlikely for us to get them. And Adventurers log were a huge one. They need a lot of engine support as well. So we will try and present you all that information in game instead, like you've already got with things like boss logs, kill logs, in-game time, which is just past its poll. I think you've already done the engine side of that.
Yeah.
If there's anything else like that you want doing, we can find another way to present it to you, but we're unlikely to ever see something like an Adventurers log.
And the problem with the website is, as John said, there's a huge amount of effort needs to go into creating it. And the way we sort of, as a company, recoup that back is we look at what benefit that web page brings us, and from RS3 as well. The actual amount of visitors who visit the Adventurers log there is negligible. So there is no sort of benefit for us creating a new web page on that side. And so trying to persuade a team which is already rammed with work to say make this new page for us. The benefit for us as a company is minimal, and when we can do it in game, which is where you guys are already, it seems a better option.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be a bit more limited about being able to show details for people who aren't online on the same world, but it'll show yours at least, and we can probably make it show your friends or something of the sort.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next question's from Random Guy. Could you install a warning signal when rules have been changed in the Duel Arena? There was a similar question asking for preset Duel Arena rules.
I think
If we rework the Duel Arena interface to build in a preset button and maybe a saved or last button or something, like we did in RS3 in 2012-ish, we could probably do that stuff and also sort out the a delay to stop people accepting after the rules have been changed for a few seconds.
Cool.
We did that too. In fact, I did it to Clan Wars.
Yeah, we did a lot to Duel Arena.
Another one from Anthony Probert. Thanks, by the way, Anthony. Send in some good questions. This one's, what is the spawn rate of the Marks of Grace? Do they depend on your agility course / agility level?
It depends on the course.
Yeah.
And it's random between something Ash is about to tell you.
I actually can't remember for the life
So I
of
was
me
trying to
I
remember
did.
what it was as well. It was
I think it's-
every 6 minutes. You don't get one for 6 minutes after you've picked one up. Is that right? Or was it 3
I think
minutes?
it's after it's dropped rather than after it's picked up, because
they can stack
you
up.
can stack them.
Yeah. We can't remember, seems to be the answer to that.
Someone write that down over there, Ronan, and I'll look that up after the stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marks of Grace spawn rates.
Aren't you listening to us?
I was typing up a question.
Right. This one's from Darespun. Is there any way we can improve Granite legs? Sorry. Quite useless.
They are.
what do they have in mind? I mean, defensively, they're kind of fit for their level.
Yeah.
If they want like a +1 strength bonus or something, then they will happily do it if it passes.
Granite set bonus.
Granite set bonus.
It's kind of tricky because you
I'd
can't
take
make
some
them.
granite armor.
You can't make them better than like a dragon plate leg, so they can't go
Yeah.
too far.
And adding strength bonus to things needlessly has never particularly gone down too well. The pedant's legs come to mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to have
Polish
like
them to make them shiny, so they give a better defense against magic.
we get Garrett
Just a
to-
thought.
I think the reason they're not too popular is because there's not a whole lot of accounts that are between 40 and 60 defense.
That's true. Get Gareth to rework them, make them look pretty.
Yeah,
They've got to look granity.
so yeah.
Okay.
Lots of stone.
Their power should not be taken for granted.
That's a Matt joke. that is.
Yeah, but he launched it on the improved granite mold.
I did.
Yeah.
I think Gareth wrote that.
Interesting possibility. Someone suggested range defense, increasing that on them.
Yeah,
I
again,
thought that was what the granite set was designed to do. It just doesn't
I saw
so
that
much.
did.
I'd have to
Yeah.
look at what their stats exactly are and see where they are. But there's probably some room for improvement, definitely.
All right, next one's from Baratho. Can we update the rewards from Shades? A little early. The amulet might make it a little better, but the rest of the rewards still suck.
If they want
do a bit.
a complete general rework, I'm happy to do one, but I'll have to learn how Shades works.
We could just rewrite how Shades works.
I would respectfully ask you to not touch Shades ever again.
So
I would
apparently not
rather
doing
you completely rewrote construction, mining, farming, and any other skill of your choice.
that. Well, the thing is, I could give it a drop table that looks like a drop table rather than the piece of code it currently has, which
Yeah.
looks like a kind of waterfall.
Or we could just leave it as it is.
Okay, next question.
We can still improve the drops, just don't have me spend a week testing Shades.
Right, this is from to Javer, whatever. When are we getting the face north option by clicking the compass?
We found when I last looked into that if you click at the bottom of the compass, just near the mini-map, it counts as a click on the mini-map and you start walking.
Right.
And at the moment, we don't have any way of making it do one and not t'other. So if you could just carve out an exception for people clicking on the compass, so it doesn't go through to the mini-map, then we can do this.
I think I know a long time ago there was sort of issue with doing auto-facing stuff like that because we relied on sort of slight shifts of the camera to stop the sort of colour recognition bots. And we didn't want it to be that easy to line your camera up perfectly with axes. But
Yeah.
if we've got better bot detection systems these days anyway,
That was
then
2009, so I
Yeah.
reckon we're probably good.
we're probably fine now. So yeah, that shouldn't be a problem to put in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bit more minute, but OCD has always told me to ask this. So the compass actually, when you are north, the north, I feel like the N is still slightly to the right.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There is an intentional
Okay,
offset
okay.
introduced, which is random.
Just wanted to
between
clarify, so-
it shifts over time
Right.
to try to stop colour recognition bots from being able to play the game.
Yeah, we should definitely fix that one as soon as possible.
Everyone in the chat wants to fire me, so I'm going to show them all the script from the Shades file, which is written in 2004,
Yeah, go on then.
and see if you want to rewrite it.
Okay, next question is from RSN
I want
Jessica,
to replace it.
who asks, can you add an arrow to tell you where the mole is, and possibly a mold drop rework?
Mole tracker.
Mole tracker.
Yeah.
Falador
Defining
diary
mod.
benefits.
Yes, it's something we have had in mind already, and we will possibly see coming from us should Achievement Diaries pass at the very least very soon.
I would like to poll changing his spawn timer though, because it's got a really slow one for some reason, like Cowfight Queen.
Okay.
Teleport to mole button.
Well, they were made by the same developer.
Teleport to mold, teleport.
Makes sense. Chaos Elemental too?
Yes.
All right.
Mod Bennett left years ago.
Okay, this one's from Hegars. Asks, developer, in my final year at college, will there ever be any graduate positions available to work on the old school team?
Maybe. Depends. I mean, we don't sort of have.
Graduate or non-graduate
Yeah,
positions.
it's we don't sort of have a growth plan going forward, if you see what I mean. So we're not sort of sitting here thinking, right, in 3 months' time we'll look to get another developer. In 6 months' time we'll look to have one of them after that, and then we'll get 2 more QA people, then we'll get another community person, then we'll do blah, 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 blah. It all depends on sort of the state of the game where it is at the moment and what we see for the sort of, you know, the short term and mid term as well. So we don't have a plan to do it, but it may well happen. We may suddenly sit down and think, oh my God, we've got so much work on that we do need more help. We do need another couple of QA people. We do need another community person. We think that we can take this group and grow the game even bigger. and in that case jobs will appear, but there is no plans for that at the moment. But obviously keep your eyes out, because RS3 is looking for people as well, so getting into the building is a good thing to do.
Right.
Also, you've got a degree in computing. Anyone else?
No.
That's about it.
None of my qualifications are relevant to my job.
Nor mine.
Okay,
Yes.
next question.
Probably least of all.
This one's from Eero Destiny. Can we have the ability to use spacebar to skip dialogue?
We polled that.
Did we?
Then it would qualify for the near miss poll as well.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking.
think we would declare that it jolly well did qualify.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Don't mind me. Wild Kudrum 4L asks, have we had any decent player suggestions for the new continent yet, and do you have any favorites? Dan?
We've had quite a lot of suggestions. A lot of them are mainly quest-based. I've had a few islands come through as well. I can't remember his name now, actually. He actually designed an island and posted it on Reddit, which got a lot of likes. I think it's is it Eliox Island? Eliex Island, that's the one.
yeah,
I knew it was
right,
Ellie
yeah.
something. He designed an entire island, which I might steal. He can have all the credit for it. I should include his name somewhere in the list and somewhere on the island itself. But there's been a lot of suggestions. A lot of people are very focused around lore and are very focused around storylines, which I'm more than happy for, because that's quite hard to write, and I think the more people that contribute to things like that, the better it is for the community anyway. So
Definitely.
if you're trying to write lore or anything else, please do send it, because I will use it.
Just goes to show your suggestions actually do go somewhere, by the way. So keep them coming.
In particular, you were asking at one point for some lore about what the Corp's doing.
Yes, there was a thread on the forums actually about that. Somebody wanted a backstory as to why the Corporeal Beast was there, and I can't remember if he actually sent it to me or not, but I am willing to put anybody's suggestions in game, especially for something as large as the continent. It's very, very hard to portray how big that land is going to be and how much content is going to be on it. So I mean, when you consider what's in Ardoing, for example, and then ignore it, and include the space between Falador, including Ardoing, and Prepidinus, how much content is there? That's how much I have to make, and obviously, the more you suggest, the more likely it is it's going to be in. So please do send that our way. But there's been a lot of good suggestions.
Cool. Ardoin? All right. This is from...
We were doing this for the last few weeks, just repronounced everything that Chris says.
Can't...
Where did you buy your bed from?
Argos.
Argos.
Carry on.
All right, this one's from a name I can't say on stream. Can we get the loot table of silver keys from Shades of Mort'ton minigame?
Well, I got no problem with that. They're welcome to it.
Completely welcome to it. I will stick it in a paste bin and tweet it after the stream.
Cool.
As is.
It's easy.
Yeah.
See if you can work out drop routes from it.
He's right, he can't say that name on stream.
I want to see it now. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Which one? Yeah.
This is from Random Saucer. Will automatic trading ever be reconsidered? I already asked this question. He's just asking basically if 73% or upwards will be reconsidered.
That would definitely be reconsidered.
Right. Next question is from I. Kelly asking, will the tool belt ever be pulled for Old School Runescape?
Now, in the artisan thing, you actually came up with a great idea about a backpack, which you created artisan items for and put it into your backpack, which is effectively a tool belt. I thought it was great. But anyway, that's a snide. So.
I like that. I like the idea of it being a physical item rather than a new sort of just something you always have with you.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yes, you can store the tools in that and you can use them from there. I like that.
Kind of like a
So
rim
I
pouch.
quite like that too.
There's an awful lot of work has to go into making a tool belt there as well, because we've got a lot of
Every piece of script that
inventory
looks for a
checks.
hammer
Yeah.
would have to be rewritten to look for a hammer or accept this
Yes,
tool belt.
absolutely,
So
yeah.
whilst it will be very trivial to make a tool belt, to make that tool belt work in place of everything that requires you to have a hammer, a saw, a rake, is a very big job.
It's funny that it was the only time it's ever been the other way around was with the rune pouch, where making the pouch contain the runes was the hard bit and making them come out of the pouch when used was easy.
When
That's
was
rare.
the tool belt released? Do you guys know?
2010.
Okay, so the EOC comments are kind of justified. It isn't as old as 2007, but
Yeah.
still.
No, I thought it was. I mean, it's a very useful thing. Tool belts for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because it came out in a couple of years later doesn't mean it wasn't good. It was. If that had been there from the start of RuneScape, I don't think I'd have minded at all.
No, no.
Who doesn't have an advantage from it? Who is it?
Well, you save one
Not
either
helping.
worn or invent
Well,
slot.
yes, it's an
Right.
advantage. Not all of our players want to go
doesn't
straight down the
want
route
this?
of having
If
advantages.
you're concerned about giving an extra inventory slot, you just make the tool belt an item that you have to have in your inventory.
Exactly.
And I suppose the sort of biggest complaint, and obviously do correct us if we're wrong, is that, especially when it comes to quests and doing those first quests, you have to take all the items with you. So you have 6 or 7 items already in your inventory. The tool belt took that entire feeling away from it, so that you didn't have to worry about what you were collecting.
Yeah, getting halfway through the underground pass and realising you haven't got a spade.
Yeah.
I did that 3 times.
We can always
Right.
call it the Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
Let's take another break. We have any more chat questions? Yeah?
Ronan is sending us some.
Yes.
Wrong one. In the wrong chat.
They're coming through slowly.
Ronan, as an amateur, has put it in the wrong chat.
Can we get takeaways in RuneScape so when you are running low on food, you can order a pizza?
Already got them.
As,
Real
Now I'm
takes out of a
hungry.
job with that.
has been made popular by the fantastic Pizza Mun, that's Pizza Space MN, who is playing Old School. He's a fantastic guy, by the way. He's been made popular and is probably one of Old School's most famous players right now, especially most loved. I think we've been talking about, jokingly at the very least, talking about having like a pizza random event in game, and somebody suggested having like a pizza store that only he can enter to give you pizzas. I guess we can.
Already exists.
Yeah, yeah.
Gnome restaurant.
Oh, yeah, we also have the Gnome restaurant, which isn't, well, it's a takeaway in some
They
respects.
can deliver. I can't remember. I'm sure we've got that feature, but it was before the rework where you get tokens as a reward or something. You can use them, and so a gnome brings you like a Blurberry special.
Yeah.
All right.
I think maybe we ought to do a straw poll on whether Pizza MN is a hero
Yes.
or not. So I think would be.
If he's watching, I hope you're enjoying that.
While they're
Halloween
voting
spawn
on
I gave you.
it, can we discuss where we're going to put Nendo's, the chicken shop?
Nend. Do you know what? New content.
All right. We have actual questions. Let's get into these real quick. From Miss VMK, would it be possible to add the previous name indicator that is currently in the friends list into the clan chat window? I actually asked that wrong last week. So we're basically asking for what it is now, but also in the clan chat.
Wait, so you're saying taking it from the friends list?
Not
or
take
friends
it.
chat?
from
not
the
taking
window.
it, but
So you got the
adding it,
window
yeah.
with your friends in it with the thing next
So you can
to
see
it.
previous display name when they're in the clan
sorry, I
chat.
got the wrong end of
In
the
the friends
question.
chat?
Okay, that's my fault. Yeah.
I asked the question wrong last week, so apologies. But is that a possibility, or?
If the system that's generating inside the engine that's generating the chat channel list could also give previous display names, then sure, we could put the tooltip there.
That's true. We've got an engine developer now. You can fix that clan chat bug for me. Where if you
You only just noticed.
no, I just spaced on the fact that this has been a long-standing issue. If say if I join Chris's clan chat and he then changes my rank rather than deleting my entry, it just adds another one. So I'm in there like 8 times with all the
Right.
different ranks.
Really? Oh. Yeah, that sounds like a bug. You're right.
It's
very
where that one
annoying.
came from. It's not like we've had any changes made to the chat channel system.
That was from launch of Old School.
It's been there since
Okay.
launch. We just never had any means, or nobody really complained about it, weirdly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Next one's from Rocktail. Can we make magic more viable in PVM? Right now it's only used in 2 useful places, the Kraken and Rex. That's because they're required.
Magic isn't the greatest form of combat, really.
That's why we made the Kraken, really.
Yeah, that's why we make it required in places. If we were to add another boss that requires it, it's going to be the same argument. We
Right.
can't really rebalance all the other bosses to make magic viable. We could completely rebalance combat, but I don't think that would be terribly popular.
Well, that ain't right, is it? 21% of people.
I think
said
everybody
yes.
says yes.
Yes,
Wow.
that's all right. 100% yes.
Something has to
Oh.
be done.
That's an interesting poll.
Yeah.
I think we
If
should.
you go
I think we
yes or
should straw
yes.
poll whether or
Yeah.
not we should give him like 10k pizzas to give out to people.
Yeah. So 100% of people think Pizza Man is a hero. I think we're quite all right with that.
All right.
There we go.
Oh, here we go.
You
This
probably
one's
didn't
from
even need to rig it. I think it would have been fine anyway.
Yeah.
this one's from Kalansky. Asks, can you fix it so that Ironman can do Barbarian Assault together?
Yeah, they can at the minute, but because the way Accept Aid works, they have to be the leader. Because you
Okay.
can't invite someone unless they've got Accept Aid on.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure we can do a whole lot about it.
Well, if we let it bypass the accept aid checks for Iron Men in Barbarian Assault.
Just for Iron Men, so it's not too spammy on other
Yes.
people. Yeah.
Cool. There's another actually Barbarian Assault question. It was asking for being able to time how long it took you to do 1 to 10 in somewhat of a high scores ranking system.
It was doing it for the team, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the tricky bit, tracking what a team is for this purpose.
Right.
But if we did it for just the leader of the team and hoped like heck that they didn't change their team in between, then we could probably track that.
We could do it wave by wave rather than from 1 to 10. It might
Okay.
be easier.
They basically just want Barbarian to sell speedruns.
Yeah, we could do that. But high scores, again, like with the adventurer's log question. I'm having trouble with that word today. It'd have to be something displayed in-game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will we get to see, this is from Rocktail, will we get to see magic and range prayer equivalents to piety? I said that right, I hope.
Probably at some point.
Yeah.
They were offered once before with the minigame reward shop, and I think the problem was that they didn't want them to come from the minigame reward shop, rather than didn't want the prayers.
There was another question about the minigame reward shop asking about the progress on that.
Yeah.
Well, there
Should
isn't
we address
any.
that? No?
Yeah.
Well,
Do something
quite
to
simply,
put in it. Yeah.
There'll be
Yeah.
progress when there's actually things to put in it.
if you've got specific things you'd like in it, then we're happy to pull them.
Until then, it's just sitting there waiting to be done.
We can create a shop though with nothing in it.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Kalansky again, asking the chance of a stunted achievement diaries, basically one achievement diary per month throughout 2015.
Yeah, I had a few requests for this. If we do them, I mean, the achievement diaries work with, they have a central system directing them all. So that to release them bit by bit, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and it would probably take us more time overall, just sort of test things and to get things developed rather than do it all in one chunk.
Okay.
So again, we could, but it's a lot more efficient for us as a team to actually just do them in one big bulk.
Okay. There was a. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, if we've got to spend a couple of weeks of dev time every month really doing another achievement diary, and meanwhile doing feedback tweaks to previous achievement diaries, it's going to be rather hard to develop anything else.
Yeah, reactive
Right.
maintenance would take up all the time in between. So
Definitely not a small job. Similar question, actually. Cameronza is asking about the possibility of a trimmed quest cape to people who have unlocked every music track and completed every achievement diary.
yeah, I've been discussing this with these guys. I think I mentioned it once on a stream. With all the achievement diaries done, I'd like to offer at some point at least effectively a recolor quest cape. It's just a green one, so you've done all the achievement diaries. And at Christmas, we will have the final music track for Django's Little Workshop be available. So we could offer you a music cape as well, just to show that you've unlocked all the music. And each of these capes could trim each other, like when you get more than 199. They don't really have a whole lot in common with each other, but it seems to be...
Sort of everything else, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
everything else quest cape.
Yeah.
What's that say? Will next be added to Old School? Dan?
I imported the next model from RS3 not long back. It's just a model, it's not actually the boss itself. Just thought I'd play around with it. I also did speak to Chris L quite in some depth to try and find out, as well as Ash actually, to try and see if next, as you remember, was actually possible for our game. Turns out we can achieve everything next was, only next did set the benchmark for what our combat system is capable of, and I don't think I can really replicate that in the same way Chris did. I'd probably be insulting its memory.
Not me.
So,
Different Chris.
No, Chris L, sorry. So next is possible. We can definitely use the model if not using it for that particular boss fight. However, I think we can achieve something slightly different, especially with things like raids or a solo boss or any other sort of boss fight. I'd like to try and push our combat to its very, very edge. Chris did that with Nex. I think we can do the same, or share the same experience at least with just a particularly different fight.
Seems to be getting a good response. Maybe it could be something added to the continent then.
Yeah, well, obviously I've got bosses planned to the continent, not just one. I've spoken about one at the very least. I've spoken about a particular raid because that is something Old School doesn't have. Obviously there will be particularly solo bosses, open world bosses, other particularly small bosses as well.
Okay. All right, this one's from Mr. 351. The bosses from Dungeoneering had many unique mechanics and were actually fun to kill because they required some skill and teamwork. Sorry. Could we possibly see more bosses like them in Old School?
I was hoping when we sit down and design raids that I was going to bring up most of those actually.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There's all the mechanics that they have aren't really groundbreaking mechanics. They're rather trivial, and we can definitely do them. They're fun mechanics, especially the Room Behemoth, which requires you to knock down all 3 pillars. 3 pillars being 2 parts of his prayer. If all 3 prayers are up, he damages everybody in the room or everybody within a certain radius. It's very, very trivial mechanic, but it's very effective, and we can do things like that easily. We can even extend that to do other things as well, and I would like to do something similar to that.
So definitely potentially yes there.
Yeah.
All right, this one's from the Checkley, and he asks, can you add a peak option into the Corp Cave? Just kind of put like a occupied bathroom.
I remember asking if everybody wanted that or not, and I got a resounding no back, so I didn't add it.
But to be fair, when I asked if I should put a 4,000 chompy bird kill on achievement diaries, I got a resounding yes. I'm still not going to do it.
At the time, there was a lot of concern that people peeking into the cave would just want to know when there was something lootable.
Yes.
And since the Corp Cave has not been lootable for a considerable time now, maybe they've changed their view based on that. Thing is, eventually the Corp Cave is probably going to become lootable again.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you if you actually want the peak option, or the peak option just simply tells you if, well, allowed you to see if the world was free or not. There is benefit to that. I have obviously set up Corp to recognise whether or not there is an invisible player in the room, because that's what the peak option did. So I'm going to, I guess, leave it to you to decide whether or not you want it. We can be done if you really do want it.
Just poll it.
If not,
Poll that.
you could straw poll it actually. Should we add a peak option to the Corp Cave or not?
Okay. Let's read the chat one actually.
That'd be interesting if when we do the instanced Corp Cave things.
Yes.
Alright. Can you expand on the role mounts might play in the new continent?
So for the time being, I haven't really considered too much about what mounts will do specifically. They're more of a cosmetic thing right now, because I think that's what people are more interested in. Doing things on mounts is a big problem, as we've raised before. If you were to go up to a tree and try woodcutting it, we have to take into account that you're elevated above the ground now, and you need to animate in such a way that allows you to cut the tree whilst on top of a dragon, for example. That's very difficult, and we would have to make exceptions for that in every scenario where it might be needed. That's an awful lot of work.
Another game I play actually has the same problem. They put mounts in not too long ago, and you can go and chop trees and mine stuff. And what they do is they just take the mount out from underneath you and put you on the floor. So it solves that entire problem whenever
Just
you interact with
disappears
something.
into the ground?
You just climb up the mountain and carry on.
But even such, we'd have to put exceptions in for everything you can click and interact with to see if you are transmogrified or mounting something.
Every
to
single
take you
op
off,
in the entire game.
which is an even bigger job. So
And it won't help very much if, normally you're a size 1 person. If you're a size 5 because you've got a dragon built into your bottom, then changing back to a size 1 as you click on the tree and then re-emerging much bigger would do very odd things to the navigation around these parts.
You could get something similar like a Pokeball and just click on that item in your inventory, and it would kind of pull the thing back into that.
I approve.
Let's do it.
I think the same technical limitations apply to what Ash just said there. I mean, being able to do things with a mount is problematic. I think for the time being, we're hoping mounts would remain rather cosmetic. I think it would be rather nice to have that image. But if there is a particular design that you like, and we can investigate whether or not it's possible, what challenges we might have to face. If some of them crop up to be rather trivial and easy, we can definitely look to explore that and have that instead as a cosmetic override. But I guess at the moment they're purely cosmetic, because who wouldn't want to be seen riding on the back of a dragon?
Right. Easier. Well, not exactly easier mode of transportation, but definitely cooler.
It certainly looked cool in the picture you put together. Admittedly, that was, I think, done by transmogrifying you into a dragon with a man-shaped growth on its
Yes.
back. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's check out this poll. So this is for the peak option to the Corp Cave, and you guys are not too fond of it.
Well, it's the majority. Well, the majority. Yes is winning, with indifferent very, very closely behind. If we were to poll that as an actual poll question, I'm not entirely sure it'd hit the 70 or 75% threshold. So I will leave it to see how things go. I think it's too early days. I think the people still at the Corp Cave these days are more the hardcore Corp killers, and, which means they shouldn't actually have trouble finding a world. And if we were to have instance Corp worlds, which passed, then I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of a peak option would be, because most people will probably be in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't peak an instance.
Next question. This is from Pot Up SunRS, and he says, "Can you make it so people can trade in Bounty Hunter but not accept?" This is kind of because some people are saying, "Oh, fight me, I risk 1 mil cash." They go, "Trade me to show it." They go, "I can't trade you."
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I mean, we put that there to prevent abuse. So
Right.
obviously, if we're limiting people actually, or if it's leading to further abuse because no one can verify what they're about to do, then I don't see why we can't.
Encouraging people to open up a great big screen in the middle of the wilderness and look at it while other players might be walking around behind it had its risks.
Yes,
but I
that's
guess
true.
they know what they're doing
True.
if they do a thing like this.
I mean, if you're willing to open the
Just-
interface in the first place.
There's like a spell that lets you see your opponent's inventory, isn't there?
No. It
That's
shows
just
their
the stats. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
In case you want to know their runecrafting level or something.
Right.
Maybe
No,
that's a
using the
reward
high
you could add
scores.
to Bounty Hunter then.
You click the trade option on another player. If you're on a bounty world or whatever, it could just say, do you want to tell this person what's in your inventory, yes or no? And if you say yes, it tells them.
Yeah.
It works.
Okay.
but with spam checks.
Let's see here. Already asked that. Okay, this one's from Inhumility. Can you make messages disappear when you add advertisement bots or just annoying players to your ignore list? So basically people have the problem right now when they turn their public chat
pretty
on,
sure
they
we
get
can do that.
spammed. Yeah. So that's a definite maybe, yes?
If we can't do it now, we can get it made possible quite easily.
Cool. Also had an interesting idea of suggesting the option to be able to manually type in and kind of do everything without a mouse. So you could type in, for example, /clear, and that would clear your chat. I guess people who just don't like looking at annoying text
I like that.
would have the
idea
option
of that.
to clear their PMs and whatnot. You could also then, go in further and just say /PM and then enter a player's name. That would be a
I think we can just have a right-click
message.
clear option on each of the types of chat button. We can clear this. The log should work.
There's
Yep.
quite a lot of different types of chat these days. You might find it a little frustrating that you have to clear like 20 different types of thing to make your chat history go away.
We could have a clear all option as well.
And would that just clear text from players or also the in-game stuff?
We can have one on each type, like where you can turn private chat on and off. We can have a right-click clear, just clears private chat.
Okay, cool. This is another one from Powerup SunRS asking about the progress on the Recoil/Venge stacks. I think this one might be for Ian, yeah?
This was what we were discussing earlier with the hit marks showing high levels of damage,
Right.
overriding the lower levels of damage.
Right. So to give you an example, say I spec'd 40/40 DDS, I would see the guy's hit points go down and his bar would be nearly dead, hopefully dead. But perhaps the numbers wouldn't show up because he hit my recoil and that number would take place over the big ones. So kind of prioritizing the big numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely make that change.
Cool.
There's a much more sort of comprehensive system for controlling that I can backport in potentially, or I can just we can just make it a simple toggle between prioritizing getting rid of the oldest hit marks first or
Yeah.
the lowest value hit marks first.
I think it's just really wanting to see the big numbers that you
Yeah.
get to hit.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you want to change it for everyone, then that's fine as well. I don't know if it's...
Make a poll it and see if 75% of people like the change, and if they don't, then maybe a toggle would have done better.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all the questions I got this week.
Wow.
So,
Sure, we can find something on that screen.
on the chat. Well, last week I had too many, so this week I figured I lowered it a little bit so we can interact with the chat.
Short dude wants to know where Mort'ton is, although that's not quite how he spelt it. He's over there.
Yes, come say hello.
Fire
stick
away,
your head
guys. What do you have to ask?
Ronan's actually typed a question into the chat window, which is can introduce the clan system that exists in our suite of Old School.
I love that the clan system.
The clan system was the clan chat system and the ability to roster clans and register your clan as an actual existing clan was very, very nice. The certain content frames that came with it, such as Citadel, was kind of a little bit trickier, a little bit more different. I'd actually like to have a clan system.
Yeah,
I'd
no, I
look to
think
you for
it's
that.
really important.
Yeah, I'd imagine we can do the clan system in game. Obviously, there's also various support for clans on the website, which wouldn't be something I would be doing. But
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
I'm sort of very much of the belief that as much as possible needs to be in game.
Yeah.
So if there's a clan system in game, there needs to be some sort of clan advertising system in game. There needs to be some sort of clan recruitment system in game. So you're not doing it through the website. Because my belief of what you guys want is you want to be playing the game. You don't want to be visiting our website to do stuff that you can do in game.
Hence poll booths.
Yeah, hence poll booths, hence the trading post thing as well. So you're not going to other websites to do it. And I think if everything's in game, that makes a much better game for you guys. And yeah, so I'd like the whole lot in game. Everything that's on the website for RS3 to be in game. In fact, I would love. Okay, and I
RS3
keep getting
to be
told
in
off about this as well. I'd love to have our forums in game, so you could actually access our forums and type on our forums via the game. But I do keep getting told off for suggesting that because it's enormous bit of work. But
To
there
whom
we
are you
go.
suggesting it?
To everybody, but like I say, usually get Matt, go away and leave us alone. Responses to it.
Got another question here. It says, would you ever make items that give us skill bonuses? So we kind of talked about the Vecna skull last time. I assume that means something similar to that.
My immediate thought when he mentioned skill bonuses was like lumberjack and those
Okay.
kind of sets, and the prospector one. You can happily add more for any skill, really, but there's nothing stopping us doing it as long as you want it. and are happy with it to go in.
And if it takes the entire herblore skill out, then that would be rather embarrassing.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to answer this question, but if you're going to carry on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are there any items or any skills that you think really could use the advantage, could use the assistance? Like farming, you have the secateurs and
I'd
whatnot.
be quite happy to introduce something that makes Hunter about 50,000 times faster.
Okay.
But I imagine my sentiment is rather different to the other.
Everyone else's.
Sort of pyromaniac outfit for firemaking.
Yeah, something like that. I wouldn't say any skills.
Flames come off the top, couldn't
How do they dress then?
Everything you
know.
touch bursts into flames.
I would
Kind of
say-
like Skittles Man.
I wouldn't say any skills were in dire need of it because everyone's got their favourite skills, everyone's got their least favourite skills. So, not really.
And those who have already trained their least favourite skills through slogging at it probably wouldn't thank us for making it really easy if you got this Dubrier.
Yeah, I mean, typically these differences are negligible anyway, like 2.5%. So.
Yeah.
So basically, you're implying your least favourite skill is Hunter.
No, Hunter. I know you wrote Hunter, all right. I know you wrote Hunter. I just don't like all the clicking. It's a fantastic skill though, and it's
Don't
worth
we all?
noting that Hunter launched with one bug.
Which was just a warning which I'd put in to stop an actual bug happening.
All right.
But
Next
it wasn't
question.
flawless. And
Let's ask that now.
Yeah, the next question is, why are there so many freaking tables in front of you guys?
There's usually
There's usually 4, and there is 4. So
Yep,
next
they're just
question.
split up a bit.
Yes,
this
normally
time.
we push them together to make them look like there's one. But like we said at the beginning of the stream, if you have a particular design that you would like to see these tables arranged in at the beginning of the stream, email what was your email address? Livestream at jagex.com, and James will do that for next week.
I think
Even if you want them stacked.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Do it with a picture.
Yeah, James said, send in a diagram of how you want these tables sent. Okay, we expect this to be quite unique and probably a new feature of how the tables are designed each week. So send it to James at livestream at jagex.com, and we will have a pyramid stacked set of tables next
I
week.
think if people want to know why they are like this, though, I think Chris was complaining that his mug was too far away.
Yep.
So he dragged the table closer.
I don't
Which
know what
then
you're
John
talking
to
about.
then go, well, I want a footrest, so I'm going to drag this one closer. To which I think Matt said, why not drag that one closer? And we left that one there because that one gave us a reference point for where the other tables go.
Until John moved it.
until John moved it all but a few seconds ago.
it was a 7-degree rotation. I'm sure we'll manage.
Yes.
It's
When is the
parallel to that
trading
corner.
post? That's the big question.
What
there.
about it?
When is it? What do you reckon?
Well, some
Yeah.
of it's already, and the rest of it soon, I would hope.
Soon.
It's
TM.
coming on nicely.
All right. Let's
There we
do this. Grimy Herbs, Dragon Defenders, Dragon Claws, PvP armor.
Oh,
Go.
no.
Grimy struggled to justify repolling because there were like 49% or something.
I don't
That was
remember.
content poll 1.
Yeah.
Dragon Defender, yes, we can do it. We've offered it once before. We can offer it from something else. Just let us know what. Dragon Claws, I will leave for Dan because he's going to beautifully destroy you with words.
I'm inclined to say see previous streams. In short, I mean,
Yes.
both short and long, yes, and no. It's entirely up to you, I guess. Although my sentiment is, I like them, I love them, I had them, I enjoyed them, I farmed them when I was playing RS3 when they were launched. But I understand they're overpowered. They don't really give us room for any new powerful weapons in the game. Our growth goes from rather steady to rather exponentially, much higher than where we are right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concern around releasing Dragon Claws as they were, so I'd like to avoid that. But again, if that's what people want, that's what people get.
I'd say definitely at least make them a little bit more difficult to obtain.
We can make them difficult to retain. We'll also I'd also be very, very, very in favour of changing how much special attack damage they use, as well as their accuracy, because for a level 60 weapon to be 100% accurate and be able to kill you in one special attack is rather different, or is rather radical for a level 60 weapon, especially when the AGS can barely do that.
So there's potential. That's a kind of maybe. Maybe something like a 55 or 60%. And
Do you think it would ever pass a poll? That's probably the key question.
I genuinely don't. I really don't think it would.
I don't think so either.
No.
I think it's one of those extra controversial items that whilst a lot of people love, a lot of people also hate.
I think certainly more than 25% of the community will say no.
I think we have straw polled it in the past, and even if we did another one, I'm not suggesting we do, but if we did, I imagine yes would come out on top, but yes would be very closely followed by no. Very closely followed by no. And if you were to put that into a poll perspective, it wouldn't hit 75 or even the new 70 should it go through percent.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There is a chance. I mean, yes will come out on top, I imagine. But I don't think enough of it would be a super majority that it would go through.
All right, I actually remember there's a question that I really didn't think would get passed, but this is from Hacker. It says, will bonfires ever be a possibility in Old School?
If you really want them, sure.
If we
don't see
did
that
do them,
passing.
I would make them look like an actual bonfire.
Right, because they just looked like
So
a
what
bonfire.
was the purpose of bonfires? Was it just so
it
you
was to
could
make
train
It was
quicker?
AFK firemaking and to make firemaking more of a community event.
So what was the
because obviously
benefit of making a bonfire?
You could do it right next to a bank instead of walking
you were
down a
given
You didn't have to click.
you were given buffs if you
Right, okay,
and
so
the
that's
buff was better depending on the logs you used.
Yeah.
Which was very, very helpful for people doing bosses, for example, and you also got random sprites that appeared, and when you clicked on them, they give you little rewards. So it encouraged you to actually use a bonfire. It was AFK bonfiring, although bonfiring backwards, or even the conventional, I'm going to bonfire, click a lot, or not bonfire, sorry, firemaking backwards for the people that were hardcore XP nerds, or even going the other. Yeah, I did it as well. Going in the opposite direction.
Firemaking
was
record still
faster
stands.
than doing a bonfire. It just created a more community element to it. Only when we did bonfiring, we introduced it with this huge concept art of a huge raging bonfire, and it didn't change the graphic at all in game, which I think was one of the biggest letdowns for that. It was a fantastic addition, and I quite enjoyed it when I was AFKing.
Well, you want fire pits,
Additionally,
really, don't
yeah.
you? Some sort of fire pit where you can have some sort of instance.
Yeah.
We've actually got a
Fire
lot
thing
of
going on.
like dead smoking fire pits all over the map already. They've been there for years.
Yeah.
It actually got a lot of support there in the chat, so
Yeah.
that's
No, I'm
surprising.
thinking that the win for this, I think that I see in my mind, is what the bonfire actually does. So not the fact that it makes it more convenient to set fire to things, but that it gives off those buffs, and what those buffs are is going to be quite important, I think.
There's a lot of calls for us to make firemaking more beneficial to the player, actually give it a proper use, because I think even Andrew said in one Runefest that it's his favourite skill because the time taken to make greatly is nothing compared to the time taken to max it. It's a huge waste of your time.
I believe he said it took him about 12 minutes.
Yeah, so it's a huge waste of your time to even bother going anywhere near the skill, which is a bit of a waste, really. I think we can achieve something much better without giving you ridiculous buffs or free items or anything like that. I think more of a survival skill is more appropriate,
Yes,
but
yeah.
Yes.
we can definitely do something to firemaking, even bonfires, to improve that skill's purpose.
Or to steal
gratefully.
things from completely other games, some sort of trail cooking, which can only be done on bonfires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, unique cooking items.
That's an interesting question. Will the new continent include a new part of the wilderness?
That is interesting. I hadn't, in all the drafts I've done and all the paperwork I've done, I haven't listed any particular PvP area like the wilderness. The idea for me for the continent is to achieve some of the things that we can't achieve in the main map that's there currently. So all the things that have conflicts I would like to achieve and resolve in this area. There isn't a particular conflict with PvP. The wilderness is rather symbolic to that map.
Also, if we split the wilderness into two separate bits, that's
Yeah.
not going to do wonderful things to the number of people
Yeah.
PvPing in it.
Definitely.
That's my concern.
We can definitely put PvP-related mini-games or areas, I mean, including a Colosseum inside the new continent, and we actually have plans for that. I've demonstrated those. Chris has done a video a lot on the designs that I've done, which is up right now.
Yep.
But as for a wilderness, I don't think so.
Okay. Do we have time for more?
I saw it in the image. Things to follow up on.
Yes, this is Chris's bit.
Yeah, I'll be going over those next time.
Speech face to camera.
So now that we're addressing all the stuff we've already talked about and controversial and whatnot, let's talk about hand cannons. 'Cause that's curious to me.
Oh,
They're
Again,
pretty much the same as Dragon Claws.
yeah.
See
Yeah.
previous answer, really.
Except sometimes they exploded.
yes. I think again, with, like as John said, they fit the same bill as Dragon Claws. They were incredibly powerful, and Rage does have incredibly powerful weapons like the Dark Bow.
Yeah.
You could argue the same with Dragon Claws and AGS, but if it's something that players really want, then yes, we can investigate it. No, I don't personally believe it will pass. However, we are open to adjusting the weapon itself to do something slightly different to make it a little bit more friendly and not as ridiculous as it was originally.
I think one of the biggest problems with it really is that people use it with Void, and then all they have to bring is like a power aiming, and they're literally risking nothing, which is a big problem with the wilderness. So, yeah, not likely.
If you want the wilderness to remain pure and actually challenging, having weapons that do what Dragon Claws and Hand Cannon do isn't a good idea and isn't a good introduction. Especially since if you enjoy PKing right now and you want PKing to turn into one-item fests where people run in, declaw spec you in one shot, and literally down you, it's not a good, not a good idea really.
I think people voting for these things or vouching for them rather would then walk into the wilderness, get killed by claws, and say, "What the hell? That's OP. I don't want that."
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Unfortunately, items in our game carry a lot of the sentiment that items had originally. So even if we were to try and introduce Dragon Claws with a slightly different, buff that made them completely fair, a lot of people would look at that and think, I remember those being ridiculously overpowered. Regardless of what you've done, I know they were like this, so we're not going to have them. So you kind of destroyed that item's image, or that update's image, really.
okay. So the questions to follow up on, you don't want to do those at the end of each stream, do you? Or do you want to save them for next time? Or
We
can
can
put them in
tell them what we're going to be looking at.
Yes,
put them in the
Why
video
not?
if you'd like.
Yeah, do it in a video.
I'm saying if we have time, we'll go over them right now, definitely.
Yeah,
It's up to you
let's
guys.
do it. Let's do it now.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. First one's the Caliphate Queen drop table improvement to be polled. Any further words to be said there?
We'll poll it.
Coming soon. Yeah.
So it's actually going to hit a poll then? It's
Yeah.
a yes?
Yeah, stick on the next
All
one.
right,
Yeah.
cool. It's nice to get a definite answer. 'Cause
Yeah,
sometimes
poll
it's a maybe.
28's in a couple of weeks. Not this week, next week. So
Quick fetch option for the player-owned house butler. Is that gonna hit polls soon or not so much?
It's not that big a job. I don't see a problem there. Of course, I might run into one when trying to do it, but...
Well, if we make the decision now that that's going to be one of the larger jobs on this poll, then we can focus everything else around that.
Right.
The long-term answer is yes, it can be done.
I think on the next poll is the continent. That will probably be one
Well,
of the
then
larger
poll
jobs.
28.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Near miss polls. We've already
that's
talked
going to be
about
next year, I think, before we see that.
the near miss polls.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that until next year.
But definitely.
We're quite heavily booked up with stuff for the rest of this year
Yeah,
already.
definitely.
Easily.
That's the thing is when people say, "Oh, this is a really good idea." It's yes, that is a great idea, but there are other better ideas kind of on top of that right now.
Absolutely.
Prioritizing. So, right-click collect for kingdom. Is that a big job?
Shouldn't be.
It shouldn't, but that's one of those that was written a long time ago and we haven't really touched it since.
I have a feeling I did the right-click collect for kingdom for RS3 once, and it didn't... I don't remember it being a horrible job. Might leave it for you.
Woo.
All right.
I'm overwhelmed with excitement.
Granite legs. I think we agreed that was a no.
I will investigate, see where there is, if there is room for improvement, and we can follow that up next week or the week after.
Okay. Shades of Mort'ton rewards buff.
Could do with that.
That can go on the next poll.
That's a definite.
I may have slightly
Excellent.
increased the chance of a battle staff compared to some of the adamant junk in today's update.
Do we know how the amulets are doing today? How many are in the game or anything like that?
No, they're not that rare, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mostly because we figured, one, they disappear on death and degrades
Sure.
into dust after X amount of time, and two, because it's the only thing worth really getting.
Yeah.
I know that within literally 2 minutes of the update, somebody already did have one though.
Yeah,
Well,
A
the
lot
fact
of
that
people,
people...
we're all
was-
going to say the same thing. But
Yeah, there was that guy who I think you found evidence of
Yeah.
who'd got 1,000 silver keys waiting for the update to come
yeah.
out.
Yeah. He had 60 of them already, so well done to that guy.
yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Click compass to face north. That's not
There's
too big a task.
something on the engine list that needs to be done first. When we go through the engine list tomorrow, then we can maybe bump that one out of it. Depends what else is in there, of course, because while we can have Ian do that, then you get to click the compass to face north. There's a few other things he might do as well.
Right. Keep him busy. Mole spawn timer, or
Yeah, next
arrow
poll.
to the mole. Yeah.
Yeah, arrow's a bit harder, but I'll offer some improvements to finding the mole at least
Okay.
on with achievement diary rewards.
Okay. There you go. Spacebar to skip dialogue for
That's near miss
miss?
2015.
Right. Okay. Fixed barbarian assault for Ironman accounts.
Yeah,
so
so fix.
that they can bypass the
Right.
accept aid thing, yeah?
Coming to polls soon, or
We'll just do that.
We might just do it.
okay, cool. Don't see anyone disagreeing with that. And the peak option. You say that was a no.
I'm inclined to wait a little bit longer for Corp, given the people currently playing Corp, and obviously us having to do the instance Corp mode, but it can go to a poll.
Yeah, it'll just be it'll be a bit different whether they need it or not once we've got instanced corp in
Yeah.
there.
So I was thinking so.
I'm
More
inclined to
likely
wait for that.
not.
See if there's still demand after we've got instanced corp in, and there wasn't that much demand now.
Marks of Grace spawn rate. I think we
Find
already
out what
mentioned
that is so we can tell them what it is, because we
Yeah.
didn't remember.
Oh, right. And make Shades drop table public.
Yes. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm just going to screenshot it with no information and post it on Twitter.
That's kind of what the code is now.
Okay. Yeah, we're about
I
done.
think we're
then?
done, yeah.
I think we've got a few things to mention, like the Well of Goodwill is still open.
5 billion GPs in there.
Oh, we hit
which is-
5.
Definitely.
Which is £5,000, isn't it?
Dollars.
Dollars.
$5,000, yeah, that we'll be giving away. So that's a great start.
Yep.
We at least want to give you something. So we'll try and get up to 10 billion GP, and then we can give you the King John and haircut.
Yeah, if
we never officially said.
Yeah, although we
which
never
country
officially
we-
said that's what it is, but yeah, there we go.
It's definitely cool seeing so many people streaming with hopes of contributing more.
Yes.
People doing 24-hour streams and dyeing their hair certain colors for a certain amount. So well done to those people. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
What else? Polls tomorrow galore.
Yes, we had 2 very important
Right.
polls tomorrow. We
Three.
obviously got 3.
Yep.
We obviously have the achievement diaries up there. We have the existence of the continent up there, and multiple poll questions up there
Yes.
as well.
Cool.
So you'll be polling questions about the poll.
So part what we did, but we were thinking about doing it on its own, so we could call it the poll. Have a,
Pollception.
yeah, pollception.
There you
yeah, it's
go.
a joke I'm not going to make.
All right. Actually, and for the note for Friday, I'm going to have another video going up about the old school recap. So if you guys saw the last time, I'm going to start doing a weekly series recapping what's happened in old school. The last video was not as in-depth as I'd liked it to have been. I didn't have as much information as I could have in hindsight. So I'm thinking this one's probably going to be like 3 to 4 minutes long, as opposed to the 1 minute long. But definitely, if you guys don't like to read the forums or don't check up on anything, or don't even tune into these streams sometimes, you can find all that stuff in those videos. So that'll be tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, so next week, I guess.
See you next week.
Bye bye.